Full-size luxury SUVs for over $100,000. You could take either of these two, the 2025 Infiniti QX80 Autograph or the 2025 GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. Big names, big price tag, a whole lot of space inside, and tons of capability that most people might not need, but you just might. Stick around, we're gonna drive, you're gonna see all of the amazing features inside and out, and we'll pick a winner. The QX80 and the Yukon are old names, doing the same old thing. Lots of comfort, big size, tons of power, a lot of street presence. The QX80 was brand new for 2025. The Yukon has been refreshed for 2025. It's been out since 2021. With new interiors and a lot to choose from every single trim, we've gathered the best ones. Which one is truly better? This just in, you can order 24-inch wheels as factory standard on the Denali Ultimate. Lots of people were doing this for the last 2 decades, and now, as a factory wheel, they do look pretty magnificent. For 2025, that's the major change, along with new headlights. Slightly new grille designs, new bumper cutouts, slightly lower fascias, and out back, Denali is now the front and center piece on that tailgate as opposed to GMC. That's also a big change. Some slightly different variations on the taillights, which also play a nice animation, different exhaust cutouts than before. It's the same truck from the outside, but little tweaks here and there definitely elevate it. The Infiniti is glitzy. I mean, the grille is absolutely massive. The LED lights are striking and they're piercing, but this Autograph trim, a bit more muted with its darker chrome grille surrounds, the side trim, and these darker 22-inch wheels. You also get a two-tone paint effect with a silver roof. It's a really classy and elegant truck. Looks very crisp and upright with these wide, dark tinted glass, but also the door handles. That's part of the sleek effect here. They pop out and then they retract. We've seen that before, but on this vehicle, it even extends to the back, where the rear lights have a piano key LED effect, and it just looks good all around. You know it's the QX80. It really hasn't changed for probably 15 years. Still, you can relate it to the previous generation, but here it's elevating it, and I think because you don't see as many on the road, that makes it even more special. These two are nearly the same size. They're equal in height and in wheelbase. The Infiniti just about an inch longer in length and 2 inches wider. For clearance, both of them have air suspensions that will let them raise the body several inches. The Infiniti goes a little higher at a maximum point of 10 inches off the ground, where the GMC is about 9.3. The Yukon Denali has 16-way power heated, cooled massaging seats. It also has a power sliding console, 10 inches. There's also a little bit more room here. There's a drawer here. There's another place up here for all sorts of things you can stash. It's roomy, and the materials are generally pretty good. When you order a Denali Ultimate, you're getting nearly Cadillac levels of luxury. Full grain leather, all this double cross stitching, real wood, it's laser etched, and the fit and finish are generally pretty good. And by general, because I use that word a lot, I mean not everything below the belt. On the door panels and all the lower plastics, they're very hard and in some ways pretty sharp. It's a reminder that while GMC is professional grade, they certainly don't put that attitude into all of the materials, and certainly not at this price. There's less headroom and legroom inside the QX80, but the seats are more comfortable, the leather feels more like actual leather, and everything in here just feels more curated and crafted, including these headrests which have clipped speakers right by my ears. I can actually hear them a whole lot better than the Bose system in the GMC. The front seats only move 10 ways as opposed to 16, but they're still cooled, heated, and massaging. And this burgundy and black, along with aluminum inlays in this stained ash wood, it's a really beautiful presentation. All the materials are layered. That's how Infiniti describes the design language in here, and I think it's really correct. The center console doesn't slide back. It's certainly not as roomy, but there's enough space for cups. You get the wireless charger here, and this is refrigerated. I will also say that this interior feels and it looks like it's over $100,000 in every measure. Finally, you can get powered, heated, massaging, cooled, and also speakers in the headrest on this second row. This one doesn't have that because it doesn't have the $5,000 or so executive package. You still have to order that on top of the Denali Ultimate, but it's pretty rad that you can even do that. It's a separate touchscreen here for those controls, HDMI ports, and of course, gobs of room. On the Autograph trim, you're getting powered, heated, cooled, and massaging seats. all available through this touchscreen right here. And the center console is just more comfortable just to have it here. And these seats, way nicer. This cabin already comes very well equipped. For cargo, there's roughly the same amount of space behind the third rows, but once that's folded, the GMC is really pulling ahead. And when everything is folded down, 123 cubic feet on the GMC, 101 on the Infiniti. Despite them being similar lengths, widths, all of that on the outside, the packaging is better on the GMC. They both have controls for the seats, but the Infiniti's, all the rows are powered, plus the third row is heated. Now you can also adjust the air suspension up and down with switches over here, and even though that has the air, you can't. The other benefit here? A separate window glass that will pop out, which the Infiniti does not have. If you've got the size, you gotta pack the power, and the Infiniti has more of it from a smaller engine. A twin-turbo V6 with 450 horsepower versus 420 horsepower on the 6.2-liter V8 on the GMC. 10-speed automatic transmission on the GMC, a 9-speed on the Infiniti. Fuel efficiency is better on the QX80 unless you're ordering the GMC's turbo diesel. That gets you fuel economy and the highway mileage up to 26 mpg. But towing is actually the Infiniti's strong suit, 8,500 pounds versus 8,000 for this particular Denali trim. The V8 sounds pretty good. It also shuts off the cylinders when you're not using all of them, so it loafs it along at just over 1,000 RPM when you're highway cruising. But it doesn't have quite the low-end torque of the Infiniti. There's 2 turbochargers on the QX80. And as great as this 6.2-liter is, I like big V8s. I don't think this V8 is as responsive, or really great sounding, as the previous generation QX80's V8. And in some instances, it just does not feel as responsive, even when you're in sport mode, the way the transmission is programmed. The QX80 is definitely sportier. Not that sport is really on the mind of any owner or customer trying to get into one of these trucks, but the Yukon just doesn't feel as responsive, and it really doesn't want to drive in that manner. Neither of these SUVs are really meant for performance driving, but the GMC really labors to get to that point where the QX80 just feels more naturally athletic. The Yukon, without any superchargers or turbochargers, electrification, it drives more old school, but the 10-speed automatic does pick up pretty quickly, and then it drops down, really barely above idle at highway speeds. But at speed, there's a lot more road noise coming through this cabin. As quiet as it is, and there's a lot of insulation in the glass, the QX80 feels less like a body-on-frame truck, whereas the Yukon really reveals it. May not seem like a big deal, but at over 100 grand, a lot of other luxury SUVs, including that Infiniti, are just riding quieter, and they feel more isolated, as they should be. The Yukon Denali drives really just like a big fortress. It feels, though, a little bit more like a fortress, as I can feel ride harshness, more of the impact coming through the chassis, the seat, vibrations through the steering wheel that I'm not feeling in that Infiniti. A big reason are those big wheels, 24 inches, lower profile tires, and yes, this has MagneRide, really amazing magnetic dampers, and 4-corner air suspension. But even with that, there's just more harshness here. I truly think that as beautiful as those 24s look, going back to the 22s, which is what the Denali always had, will be a better choice. Both of these SUVs are body on frame, but the way this Yukon is driving, it definitely sounds and feels more like a truck than that Infiniti. Steering feels basically the same. The accuracy isn't all that great, but just like the Infiniti, the GMC has really good chassis control, that you can take this into turns and really don't feel the lean at all. It corners really flat. I would say both of them are a draw because exterior-wise, they're the same length. So it really feels the same behind the wheel. They're boats, yes, but you always feel in control. And the GMC in particular does a great job of that. A great feature on the highway is Super Cruise. GM was one of the first companies to bring that type of technology to the streets, and it's really pretty good. Very much just like Infiniti's ProPilot Assist. In comparing the two systems, I do like the lane centering better on this Yukon. I don't have to fight it quite as much as I do in the QX80. It's actually incredible the amount of body control for something this large and tall. And the brake pedal feel generally feels good. But I always feel like I have to really, really press hard when I'm coming to a stop in any of these big GMCs. The brakes are really undersized, and with a trailer and 8 people, you're gonna want the brake upgrade. By comparison, the QX80 feels like a sports sedan. Reminds me more of a Q50 Red Sport than a big full-size SUV. The response from this engine and the transmission are a lot better than the GMC. Another big notable difference, the quietness of this cabin. There's still noise coming in here, but to my ears, it definitely feels like there's several more layers of insulation throughout this entire cabin. And these seats, they are way more comfortable. I'm sinking into them deeper, but I'm also supported. And everything in here it just looks a bit better. That Yukon, they've done a great job with it, but all the colors and the textures in here, I truly feel like I'm in something special and something crafted. Just the seats and the ride quality and the noise, the lack of noise, this alone makes it a better highway companion over many, many miles. And I think if you're light with the throttle, don't have too much weight in the back, this turbocharged 6 is going to deliver slightly better efficiency in the real world than that GMC's V8. Now, Infiniti has ProPilot Assist, which is a hands-free system. It's good, but not as good as GMC's Super Cruise. And by that, I mean it's not quite as good at lane centering, and there's not as many marked roads in the United States. Accelerating, it just feels like this Infiniti is working easier than the GMC. I hear some of the noise from the engine, and it's really not bad noise, it sounds pretty good. Slightly louder than you'll get in the GMC, but I don't feel like I have to prod the accelerator pedal so deeply to get up to speed. Even in just the normal mode, it's just more effortless the way you drive the QX80. In addition to less noise from the road and the wind, there's also less intrusion from bumps and cracks on the road seeping through this cabin. Really almost none of it. And body control is still really good. It's hard to say which SUV is really better. They're both running adaptive dampers, although the GMC has magnetic dampers, which are extra special. They react quicker. But the air springs on both these vehicles are excellent. Body control, pitch, roll, you don't feel really any of it. So it makes it easier to drive both of these vehicles on the road. So they're pretty much a tie there. But it's just the way this suspension soaks up more of the bumps. I don't feel the jitters and the shudders like I do in the GMC. This Infiniti is really just taking it all away, which is what you want. These are 22-inch wheels and tires, so they're certainly smaller. I think the 24s on that GMC are really the root cause of all of that extra shakes and rattles. The way this QX80 drives is more like the car-based QX60. It's a really good thing, even though there's way more capability baked into this chassis. It doesn't feel like a big truck that it is. The previous QX80 had a really advanced hydraulic cross-link suspension, similar to what you'd find on McLaren supercars. And even though they're not using that anymore, the way this handles is just as impressive. The brake pedal feel slightly more fussy in terms of how it's responding, but the actual performance, I like it a lot better than the GMCs. The QX80 has two 14.3-inch screens. You can control the left side, which is the instrument panel, go through here, nice and easy to use, or you can actually also control the right-hand side, which is a touchscreen using the steering wheel knob. Slightly more limited, but it's nice to have that option. You got Google Maps already built in with Google Assistant, the Google Play Store, all the good wireless phone projections. Gotta love the seat massage right up here. You can customize all this, which I absolutely love, because here I can actually adjust the massage settings again, or the passenger seat, the second row, and the second and the third row. If I want to fold them, if I want to tilt them, you can do everything from up front. There's also some pretty good cameras, and it will actually, in ultra wide view, use both of the displays at low speed when you're driving forward. I do like that a lot. You can also see what's underneath you. It's black right now, but when you start driving, it will project that image underneath the vehicle as if you're driving over it. Pretty cool. Other cool features, you get a dash cam, but also an inside camera. At all times, it'll record if you want, or only during incidents. It'll also send this to your phone if anyone hits this $100,000 beauty. Hopefully they don't, because you'll be mad, definitely mad. But all these apps, really nice. Ambient lighting, also pretty. It can change by driving mode. Pretty standard stuff, I would say, but the stereo certainly isn't. It's a 24 speaker klipsch, and to get in there, the surround sound settings are great. You get speakers on the roof and the headrests. It truly sounds great in here. The displays are generally easy to use. I wish there was some more manual controls, because down here it's all touchscreen for the driver assist and the driving modes, all of this stuff here. So that could be better, but I do like the layout in general once you get used to it. The Yukon gives up its smaller horizontal display for a big portrait, a 16.8-inch touchscreen. It's running Google. Legibility generally easy to use, except on the home screen, a lot of these icons look very similar, but once you've organized them, you'll know where everything is. This I especially like. You can see all this information and it's in large. If you want, you can add any of this to the driver display. You just hit that. So that's useful. There's also not too many controls. Other GMC models put too much information here, but this one doesn't. Head-up display, you got night vision, which is for the first time ever on a GMC. The seat controls though, once you tap down here, you gotta go here for the heating and cooling, and then you can't adjust the massage there. You actually have to do it from the controls on the seat, and then once you do this, it says use the controller on your seat to adjust it, even though I'm looking and trying to touch the screen. So there's some usability issues, but there's lots of apps, especially for trailering. Really very useful. You can also control the two screens in the back if you so choose. So generally, it works pretty well, but there's definitely some usability issues that keep it from being great. The 2025 GMC Yukon starts at $67,000. There are 5 trims. I tested the Denali Ultimate with night vision and dealer accessories at $109,000. The 2025 Infiniti QX80 starts at $82,000. There are 4 trims. The one I had, the Autograph with the lighting and cargo packages, $115 grand. The GMC is more popular, the Infiniti is better made. From the ride comfort to the little details inside, like how the second row seats can be controlled from the front row, and how they can be put back exactly where you found them. Those little details are what make the QX80 truly worthy of a $110,000 plus price tag. I also just like the way it drives, the performance of the engine, and the isolation of the suspension. The GMC is truly magnificent in so many other ways. The street presence, and also the fact that it truly swallows up more people and cargo than anything out there, including this vehicle. There's not that many choices in this category, not too many vehicles that are running at this price level. So what would you buy? What full-size luxury SUV are you considering? Well, go to CarGurus.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.